pole position, he's got the best chance yet. So here's the grid again. Kimber and Butcher, Van Spunteren and Van Pelt, Hansing and Porter, Hijalwin and Karenini, Fritsch and Prager, then it is Morin and Bayat, Kevenen and Visa, then it is Liedmar, Vaver, Winschu, Van der Westerleken, Knudsen and Guvarts, then De Grand, Planchamp, Marceau, Marquesan, Moya, Nelissen, Saturno, Pointsman, Brandin, Aikeby, Galafatona and Jung. As the drivers are neatly now into position, they're getting themselves ready for the 12 laps for the senior X30 drivers compared to the 8 laps in the junior heats. So these guys are going to be pushing it for longer, for harder. Air temperature 20 degrees Celsius, the track is dry. I have a feeling it's going to get hotter and hotter and hotter as the day goes on. And you wouldn't even know that we had monsoon conditions yesterday based on the incredible bone-dry surface that we have around this Wackersdorf circuit at the moment. Sweet and crisp and clear. There's a nice little breeze coming in as well, which is definitely helping us to keep fairly cool. Although this is definitely sunburn weather for those who are not ready for it. So the drivers are obviously going to have to work very hard on keeping their tyres up to temperature. Their brakes need to be cool. They don't want to overheat the tyres, and they're obviously going to have to work very hard indeed to keep them as cool as possible. So the drivers have obviously got to be very, very patient and work hard with their karts and use an awful lot of sympathy mechanically to their machines. They've got to look after tyres in particular here because it can get very, very dusty, and the rubber does tend to fall off in chunks on the far side of the circuit. When we were on Thursday with the full day long of testing in very similar heat to this, there was basically a playground full of marbles on every single corner on the outside line. Very, very hard to keep it together. It will be on that outside line if drivers tend to go wide. So they form up again in their tram lines. Kimber, Butcher, Van Spunteren, Van Pelt, Hansing, Porter, Hijalwin, Karenini, Fritsch and Prager at the front end. Several drivers looking to play catch-up early doors, but let's see how they're going to go. Mark Kimber, and on the front row with him, Sean Butcher. It's a clean start straight away, so off we go into that first chicane and up through the right-hander. It's no problem at all for Kimber, who holds the lead. Butcher has already been displaced by Joey Van Spunteren, who gets into second position as they tuck into that second corner. Let's see if they're all clean through. Yes, they are. They've learned from the juniors. No major dramas or catastrophes as they head down into the left-hander. There's contact in the mid-pack. There's 4 or 5 of them that have gone. And that looks to me like one of them in there is the 219 of Hans Morin. So Hans Morin is in there. There's 6 of them all total that have all dropped back. And there's another one off just one corner later, also in there. That looks to me like we've got the 311 of Vincent Marceau in that lot. That is an absolute disaster. One kart stationary, not going anywhere, and it is Marceau. So that is a disaster for the man 5th in the standings. So the Frenchman really is having a miserable weekend thus far, but it's Kimber who leads the way from Van Spunteren, Butcher, Porter, Karenini, Fritsch, Van Pelt and Hijawi. So the drivers involved, we have Prager, Harold, Visa, Vinci, De Grand, Marceau, Marquesan and Pointsman, all involved in incidents on that first lap. And it looks to me as though there's only about there's 2 of them who haven't come around, and that is Vincent Marceau and Damiano Marquesan. At the front of the field, Van Spunteren is trying to get back on terms with Mark Kimber as they battle for the lead of the race. So Kimber is your leader, Van Spunteren second. Third in there is Morgan Porter, having got his way past Sean Butcher. No, sorry, Porter is still there in 4th place. Sean Butcher in 3rd position. So a very exciting start to the race at turn 4 this time, rather turn 2. Oh, there's a big shot down the back straight. 2 or 3 of them have come together there, and there's big damage. They've got a spin on the back straight. Now that's impeded several drivers in the mix there. A very bizarre incident down that back straight. And I think it's Jung, Guvarts and Planchamp who are all involved in that one. Now it looks as though at least 2 of them have got going again. I'm not sure about the 3rd one. But there's definitely a few drivers who have lost ground. Oh, actually it was Jonas Visa and Michel Bernsman who are involved. My apologies. So Visa and Bernsman got involved in that incident at the far end. Now Van Spunteren has taken the lead. So Kimber is there in 2nd position. 3rd place for Butcher. He's starting to get quite racy at the front end of this field. It was here just 1 lap ago that incident occurred on the back straight. It's a shame we didn't get a look at it, unfortunately. But I could see it out of my commentary box window. Here is Van Spunteren in the lead of the race though. Kimber in 2nd place, 3rd place, still very close Janet and Sean Butcher. Then it's Porter, Valentino Fritsch, Gary Karenini, Manef Hijawi, Rens van Pelt, Xavier Hansen and Hans Morin. So I apologise to Hans Morin, it wasn't him who was involved in that first lap incident, it was Tony Harainen in the 2:15 I had seen spin around. So Hans Morin is still right there in the top 10, apologies. Best lap of the race so far, Rebelde van der Westerlaken driving angry, having been involved in incidents earlier on. He's now in 21st position, trying to fight his way back. So Kimber in second place, behind Joey van Spunteren. Championship points are scored tomorrow, of course, not today, so this is about trying to be as consistent as you can on the Saturday and race your heart out, of course, around this Wackersdorf circuit. Van Spunteren your leader, Kimber second, third is Butcher, Porter, Fritsch, Karanini, Hijawi, Van Pelt, Hansen, Morin, Bayet, Moya, Liedmar, Nelson and Knudsen. Great racing in the first race of the weekend of the Senior X30s. Joey van Spunteren still hanging on in front of Kimber. Indirect left-hand hairpin, there we go. New fastest lap of the race from Valentino Fritsch, and a nice move in the midfield pack there, as I think that is Hans Morin making the move on Xavier Hansen to move up a position. So a good move there from Hans Morin as he goes up another place and tucks himself in there behind Rens van Pelt. So a good start to proceedings all in all for Hans Morin, who's making good progress here. But Van Spunteren is your leader, with Butcher now into second, past Mark Kimber. So Butcher in second place. The Australian working well. Mark Kimber has not given up on his designs of victory yet. They go into lap 6. And Joey van Spunteren is your race leader. Really exciting battle at the moment for the Dutchman out front. This is perfect. Van Spunteren in the lead. But the fourth place man, Morgan Porter, is getting close to these three in the lead of the race. Van Spunteren, Butcher and Kimber. So Morgan Porter is getting on with it, and you can see that, 50.675. New fastest lap of the race then from Morgan Porter as he comes through this time by. 3 different drivers are the 3 fastest sectors of the race as well. Fastest of all in sector 1 is Sean Butcher. Fastest of all in the second sector is the 280 of Ruben Moya. And fastest of all in the third sector is Morgan Porter, the fastest lap of the race so far. And these 4 are starting to break well clear of the rest of the field. 5th place man, Valentino Fritsch, trying to stay in touch. Local knowledge helping him out. And is there a move from Kimber? Not yet on Butcher. He's not quite able to commit to the move until he gets up towards turn 2. Still doesn't go for it. So Butcher is actually closing in on Joey van Spunteren. So Kimber is helping him to get there. Morgan Porter coming along for the ride. Then it's the Birolart machine of Valentino Fritsch in the KSW squad. So this is going very well indeed for the leaders up front. Through the S's, through the right, through the left, onto the back straight. And they come into this sweeping back straight section, littered with hairpins. Really exciting part of the circuit, this. High speeds into very heavy braking zones and back on the power. They go down the back straight, up the crest, down the drop and through that long flowing right-hand hairpin to complete the lap. And Van Spunteren now reaches half distance. 6 laps done, 6 to go, and Sean Butcher is giving him a bit of a hurry up here. Mark Kimber in third place, giving him hassle as well. 4th position from Morgan Porter as they continue to charge forward. Brilliant stuff at the moment. A great racing is on the inside. Butcher's going to make the move for the lead. And Kimber's going to get through on the inside as well, but he's not going to get there. Van Spunteren holds him off, goes wide on the exit, and Kimber asserts himself, puts himself in a second place. Van Spunteren comes straight back again into second, and Porter gets through as well into third position. Great jostle for race action there. And that's given Valentino Fritsch a chance to close up as well into 5th position. So Fritsch is trying to come forward. Here comes Porter for second place on Van Spunteren. He's through. No problem at all there, and that's given Sean Butcher, the Australian, a clear advantage up front. So Sean Butcher leads the way, and with 4 laps to go, it's looking very, very difficult to envisage anybody but Butcher winning this race. Up the inside, Van Spunteren gets back in a second on Porter. Porter's going to try and get straight back up the inside, takes second place. Kimber's going to get alongside as well. Van Spunteren shuts the door. Fritsch might get a chance on Kimber. Here he goes, has a look. Kimber shuts the door. He's already dealing with Joey van Spunteren. Great racing here at Wackersdorf. Through the double right, into the S's. Right, left. This is going very well indeed for the leader, Sean Butcher. He's got a great story to tell everybody back in the paddock as Kimber up the inside of Van Spunteren gets into third position once more. So it's Butcher, Porter, Kimber, Van Spunteren. Now Fritsch is there, and with him is Hijawi. Hijawi's moved up into 6th place, having got past Danny Caranini. So Hijawi's trying to hold off Danny Caranini, the Italian, and in there as well is Rens van Pelt, and Hans Morin is looking to join the fray as well. Up at the front end, the Swede has been getting on with this very beautifully. So into turn 2 they come once again, and that jostle for position at the back of this queue is getting very intense. Manaf Hijawi about to be passed up the inside there. That's the move redone by Danny Cannonini, and he's going to try not to leave the door open, and that's put Hijawi wide. Van Pelt is through, Morin is through. Great racing. Unfortunately for Manaf Hijawi, he just got run out of road there on the outside. Perfect karting manoeuvre there from Danny Cannonini. Saw the opportunity and took it. Beautifully done. So Butcher is your leader still. Second place, Morgan Porter. Then it's Kimber, Van Splunteren. Van Splunteren still there in 4th position. Not quite able to get close enough. He's got problems of his own to deal with 2 to go. Valentino Fritsch is right there for the mix as well. Now there's a chance that Fritsch could use his superior knowledge of the Wackersdorf circuit compared to the 4 drivers in front of him to really make work of this. But Sean Butcher is still out in front. Porter in 2nd, Kimber 3rd, Van Splunteren 4th, and in 5th is Valentino Fritsch. Then it is Danny Cannonini from Rens van Pelt and Hans Morin. Then it's Manaf Hijawi and Owen Byatt in the top 10. With in 11th position Xavier Hansheim. Then it's Liedmar, Nelissen, Moya, Knudsen, Eikeby, Vava, Van der Westerlaken, Satumnu and Golofratorne. So only 1 lap to go at the end of this one. Morgan Porter trying to hang on to that 2nd position. He's built himself a bit of a cushion over Kimber, Van Splunteren and Fritsch. So it should be nice and easy. 1 lap to go as they go through. And Sean Butcher holds the advantage. The Australian doing a great job here. Based in London, England these days. But running beautifully for the Mick Barrett Racing team out in front. He really took an advantage when he saw a gap open up and managed to snatch the lead in a very similar style to the way Alex Lloyd did it in the junior race. The only difference being that Butcher didn't do it on the last lap. He's done it a little further into the race and built that solid cushion and started to stretch away. It's a great start to Sean Butcher's weekend. Good work too from Morgan Porter, it has to be said, up to 2nd position. Good work from the M Sport driver. He's having a cracking season in Great Britain. His European season has been okay, but this has definitely pushed it a little bit further up his expectations. So into the final turn, Sean Butcher goes through the final hairpin, and as they battle on the final lap behind him, Sean Butcher gets the victory. Great race from the Australian. 2nd position for Porter, 3rd for Kimber, 4th for Van Splunteren. Then it's Fritsch, Cannonini, Van Pelt, Hans Morin from Manaf Hijawi and Owen Byatt. A brilliant result then for Sean Butcher. Really hard effort there to get the victory. Morgan Porter and Mark Kimber giving him a massive challenge. Kimber and Van Splunteren in particular in the early stages really making Sean Butcher work for that one. But the Australian has risen to the occasion, and it's a fantastic result. 12 laps of racing around the Wackersdorf circuit, and at an average speed of 84.03 kilometres an hour, the Butcher has served up a nice dish. Butcher, Porter and Kimber on the top 3 there. Van Splunteren 4th from Fritsch, Cannonini, Van Pelt, Morin, Hijawi and Owen Byatt. Then Xavier Hansheim and Siem Liedmar in 11th and 12th ahead of Tom Nelissen, Ruben Moya and Robin Knudsen. Then it is Ali Eikeby, Philip Vava, Rivaldo van der Westerlaken. Then Pongpak Satumnu making a bit of progress up to 19th. Mano Golofratorne finding 11 places to 20th. Then it's Trager, Brandin, Degrand, Bunshu, Tony Hodainen, Jonas Visa and Michel Bunzman, with sadly retirements from the likes of Boris Young, Jana Guvarts, Stefan Planchamp, and then those who didn't complete the first lap, Vincent Marceau and Damiano Marquesan. Really exciting racing here from Wackersdorf, and incredibly exciting stuff from Sean Butcher at the sharp end of the field. And there's more great race action to come from the X30 seniors, because we have heat with the next heat with groups C and D in the fray next. It's been an absolutely fantastic run. There's Mark Kimber and Joey Van Splunteren coming into the pits as their race finishes. They're in 3rd and 4th position. Not a bad way to start their weekend, but nobody could quite outfox Sean Butcher in that first heat. Great racing thus far from Wackersdorf in the 3rd round of the 2018 IAME X30 European Series. Jake Sanson here with you in what is proving to be a very exciting day's race action here at Wackersdorf. It's a very exciting start to the day with 2 epic races from the X30 junior and senior categories. Another X30 senior heat now. And we're going to have Joe Turney and Jordan Brown-Nutley, 2 drivers battling for the championship at the front end of the grid. 2 of the drivers in the top 4 places in the Drivers' Championship. It will be exciting to see how they go. And then there's the driver in third position on the grid, our very own bionic woman this weekend, Matilda Olsen, who is racing despite her big accident a few weeks ago that's basically taken her out of action with her right leg still in leg support. You can see it there. She actually rolled it, would you believe, on Thursday and is still perfectly okay. The doctors have said, yep, it's okay, you're able to race, and she's been incredibly fast since the get-go. She is determined this weekend that this is going to be the round of the championship where she gets her A-game back on track again. And third position on the grid for this heat is definite proof of that. Matilda Olsen this weekend is definitely one of the star drivers to watch, so keep an eye on her. A victory could well be hers this weekend. Alongside her on the grid, though, is the championship leader Clayton Ravenscroft, who is 11 points clear at this point in proceedings. He has been able to use the consistency of the first two rounds of the championship to his advantage, been on the podium on both occasions, and he's definitely been able to get the car across the line in the top 5 more often than not. And that's why he's built that 11-point gap over Danny Curl, who has not had the greatest of qualifying sessions. He's down on the 8th row of the grid for this one, alongside Umberto Altea, my apologies. So that's going to be a tough one for him to make up progress. On that third row of the grid behind Turney, Brown-Nutley, Olsen and Ravenscroft, we have the Frenchman Nicolas Picot alongside the Dutchman Dan Steenman. Then we have Niels Kuhlen and Isaac Valtonen, the Dutchman and the Swede. And then we have the Italian making his 2018 debut. Leonardo Caglioni is there on the 5th row alongside the Finn Levi Luntucanto. Then we have the Frenchman Romain Leroux alongside the Filipino racer Eduardo Cossetang on the 6th row of the grid. Then we have Nicolas Bayard and the Scotsman Angus Moulsdale on the 7th row of the grid, from Danny Curl all the way down in 15th on the grid. Keep an eye on him as he charges his way through alongside the Italian Umberto Altea. Then we have the Swiss lady Lena Buehler, much stronger this weekend over the course of the last 2 days, 9th on the grid alongside the Dutchman Kevin Stehauer. Then we have the American-Japanese racer Rhys Ushijima for Piers Sexton Racing in the 10th row of the grid alongside the HTP driver Lucky Treffs, the local man here in Germany. Simon Henrard, the Belgian, is on the 11th row of the grid. And then we have another new name to the championship this weekend, the Singaporean racer Jaden Jin. Then we have the Lebanese racer Rashid Ghanem, 12th on the grid, alongside Patrick Diegenbeck, the German, who is here for the first time this season. Harry Barlow, the young Brit, doing a fantastic job on the 13th row of the grid. He's within 3/10 or so on a flying lap of the leaders. It's so close, though, in the X30 Senior Championship that if you just get the slightest error in qualifying, as a lot of the seniors did, just basically the flow of the traffic, it can really affect your grid position. Harry Barlow